I remember when we started PLTL here at the college in 2007, and the very first workshop we ran was a pre-calculus workshop. And I remember when I was approached by the professor to do it, I said, I don't want to do this. I said, I barely learned pre-calculus. How am I going to help somebody do pre-calculus? My next semester, I led a workshop by myself, and that made me nervous. That made me nervous. But I learned from the first one that it's okay to not have the answers. You're not the expert. You know, that you know some things to help them along the way, but you don't have to know the answer. And that was good. We had a large group of about, I think maybe about 15 to 20, because a particular professor had their class. No, they came outside of class, but this professor encouraged the students to come with some, you know,
incentives, right?
Some incentives, some academic incentives. And they were coming, but I think they found that it helped them with their exams, so they kept coming.
And I hope it actually helps out, especially if it comes from a peer who's been through the class and experienced. Yeah. And you give them feedback about, you know, techniques and tips and how you approach the question yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's experience with yourself, and then you help them out. And I think they feel more confident afterwards.
And comfortable.
Comfortable,
because they're around what they would probably say around their peers. They wouldn't say in front of the
professor. They wouldn't. They asked a lot of questions like, what if this and what if that? And I found there was like, well, sometimes we don't have time in the class, so the professor has to go fast and we can't ask the questions, so they ask them to us.
Not only that, but some of them are afraid.
They're afraid of approaching their professor.
But even to ask the wrong question.
Exactly.
Because they will be embarrassed by the other classmates.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't want to ask the wrong question.
But
what if I'm wrong?
When I tell them, I was like, the only wrong question would be the one that never comes out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just even if it's a negative number times a negative number, even if you don't know, just you know, just ask. Yeah.
Just get it out there.
And who wins at the end? It's the student itself, because you actually gain more knowledge about it.
Exactly. My experience was what drew me into becoming a peer leader, as it were. Of course, I was coerced. Totally helped too. Being a tutor for, I think it was a whole year before I actually came to PLTL. So that helped me into transitioning into my students, because I already knew what problems, I was familiar with the problems that they were already having.
I was also a tutor, but I was in high school. So it was just basic algebra and trigonometry and geometry. And then I heard about the program here in Peer Leaders. I was like, I'm really interested in this, because I was exposed to this in high school, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's natural, but I enjoy helping other people and someone, you know, advance, and they actually learn something and they can actually pass an exam. It gives me joy, and
you feel good.
Right, you feel good, right? You did something good, and that's why I actually joined the semester too, to become a peer leader, and I really enjoy it because I'm actually making a difference in someone's life.
Exactly.
Yeah. As for me, I came in fresh. I was completely new.
But you were a part of a workshop.
That's actually how I got started. I just like exactly what was going on, the interaction among the students, and you know, we could ask any question and we felt comfortable. And then I was encouraged, and then when Professor Loomer told me about it, then I said, yes, I wanted to do it. I will do it. So I started with Math 175, which is the first one. The first math course, so I mostly have fundamental algebra, so I mostly have freshmen, and wow, it was an experience at first, but what helped me through this though, it was the peer leading training that helped me through it. It helped me to deal with the diversity, how to deal with the groups, different people, different culture. When I first came to the school, I was just in a rush to get my degree and get out. And now at the end, I am going on to grad school, and that's something that's just a great accomplishment.
We get the different opportunities that we have, such as we have our GRE courses. We go to conferences all the time.
Conferences were great.
Conferences are wonderful.
And I saw one of my students in the hallway, and he said, "Wow, thank you so much! I got an A last class."
Doesn't that
love them?
It makes you kind of feel like somebody is not going to blow up the world, because they come in like, I hate math, or I just need this for my major, and I just want to do it and get out.
Why do I have to do it?
Or I suck at math, I can't do it. I don't love it.
Do you guys want to hear something weird? I wasn't even taking, a year ago, I wasn't even taking any math courses. So I was like an upper freshman, second semester. It wasn't until I don't know what it was a turning point. I was like, let me look into math again. And then I was like, and then I heard about I was in the honor scholars, and then Laura, she told me that there's some workshops for calculus. And I was like, let me go and let me refresh my skills. And I decided to go, and I was talking to some peer leaders, and they were giving me feedback about this and like what they were doing. And believe it or not, now that actually turned my life, and now I'm thinking about going into the math.
Which is so funny, because I was there when you
oh my God, you see? I don't even know what it is. So I kept asking questions, getting feedback from Lori.
I remember about the major. What is this major about?
What is this class?
Yeah, and she was asking me if engineering was hard. I remember that.
You do?
That was like your first or second semester?
I was only the
First
second
semester.
So I think collaboration is one of the best ways to learn.
It takes the pressure off the individual, and just now it becomes a community, and it's a community effort now. So you're not thinking
the burden is just not on that one person.
Exactly.
It's because the main thing is for them to understand the concept. It's not just getting the answers.
Yeah.
If we're working in a group and the group decides that they don't know, they can't figure out, so then they turn to the peer leader like, do you have any suggestions? And I say, well, you know what? I don't know. If we can't figure something out together,
Yes, that's what we all put our heads together.
Let's try to see if we can put what we know.
brainstorm.
If we don't know, how about you ask your professor and see if the professor gives you, and then come back and tell me what you found, and then see if we can use it. But I kind of like those moments, you know. I was probably maybe a year or so into the workshop that I had started, so it's maybe in 2008. And I said, well, we go through all this trouble to have the workshops. How do we know it's really working? Like, how are we supposed to know, you know, is the workshop working, you know, because it was, you know, a bit of a struggle when we were helping the program to grow and just trying to get students to be consistent. So what we ended up doing was just keeping track of students' attendance, you know, from a particular class. So there was one professor who taught this course, pre-calculus, every semester. So we were able to work with this professor, keeping track of the students' attendance for those 3 semesters. And then we also, at the end of it, looked at the grades. So we split his class into 2, students who came to the workshops and students who didn't come. And then we compared their grades over the course of 3 semesters to see, you know, if there was any difference. You know, if there wasn't a difference, then you kind of feel like maybe this is not working. We ran the data with the help of Professor Mark as my advisor, and along with the other professor for the course, and we, you know, ran the numbers and did some statistical analysis and found that the students who come to the workshops, they did do better statistically, you know, officially, mathematically. You know, they did do better than students who weren't coming to the workshops, and that was like, wait a minute, hey, that shows that this is working. Like,
we have it's substantial, incredible
information.
Exactly.
And I was presented, so it was a little project, you know, you work on a little project, but then I was presented with the opportunity to publish a paper. I said, an article? Published, like, my name with a name on it? You know, you come to college and you think, you know, go to class, come home, get a degree, but then you have these other opportunities to go to conferences and network and to actually, you know, kind of be a part of academia, which you never thought would be possible. But I got the chance to publish the article, and it was published, I think, just in the fall of 2010. You know, you go to school and you just never think about all these opportunities, you know. And I was never interested in teaching either, mind you. You know, I was never, I said, I don't think I have the patience for it. But as I sat and did workshops and, you know, I kind of saw how the students felt, and I felt like they shouldn't feel this way about math. You should know, you don't have to love it, but still know that you can do it. You can. You know, and I felt after doing it for a while, I realized, I think I want to become a professor. Like, I want to go into teaching.
She's like, I'm moving this direction now.
I think I want to help students, you know, especially in post-secondary, you know, help them see that they can do it, help them find ways to feel comfortable, and I think, you know, I have a lot to bring if I went into this profession, so that helped me to see.
You think? You do.
I do.
You do. You do.
I didn't know much about it. I know, like, in terms of the history of the program, you know, after, you know, doing the training course and working with, you know, Professor Dreyfus, and, you know, just how far it can kind of change you if you really, you know, get deep into the program. It helps you to see things about yourself that you didn't know you had.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Which is a good segue into, recently I had a job interview with Apple, and it turns out that the same way that we have or peer-led team learning groups for workshops, is the same way they conducted their job interview.
It's like, now that you've been a part of it so long, can you really imagine what your life would have been like
without it?
Peer-led team learning.
PLTL.